Hello and welcome to Bored and Annoyed. I'm Jackson.
And I am home at the movies.
And as a little bit of a bonus here, we decided since Star Wars week went long, as it should.
As it will.
Yeah, as it should, as it did. We're going to go ahead and review Solo on its own little track here. So
Solo.
Enjoy.
A Star Wars story. Bored and Annoyed.
I've already seen it twice.
Wow.
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit, to be honest with you. Is it anything like what we just talked about? Mm-hmm. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's not meaningful. It's empty.
Right.
But it's fun. It feels like a Saturday morning cartoon to me. That's how I viewed it.
It was completely fine. Like, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was a little boring. There were some serious writing problems, I felt like. Like, oh, we're going to do a little twist here, but I saw the twist coming.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that where it's like, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah. I mean, it was fine. I actually think, okay, so I don't know if I was wrong because I didn't see C-3PO.
You were wrong.
Okay.
I definitely was looking out for C-3PO because of what you said.
Okay. I think you were wrong because I think Emilia Clarke was fine.
Yeah, no, I would completely agree. She was fine. 100% agree.
Yeah. I thought she was great. Easily the best character in the whole movie, though, was Lando. Donald Glover. Danny. No.
Donald, I got it right the first time.
I had it right.
Yeah, you're keeping that in, too. No. So, yeah, he was great. I would say Chewie was the best character.
He was my number 3.
Chewie, it was my favorite Chewie shit ever.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, they really did some great things with his character.
They did. They had the fun. To me, like, I wasn't unsatisfied with like how they met.
Yep.
Thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
I thought there was a lot of funny stuff with Chewie. Like, I thought he was funny.
I think he was the second funniest character in the movie.
Behind who?
L3.
Oh, you thought L3 was funny. Now, it's funny because I thought she was funny, too. She's a droid character.
Yes.
She's Lando's aide in this one.
Yep.
You know, the original Lobot.
Yes.
You Star Wars nerds will know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But yeah, so I thought she was funny, too. The audience that I saw it with was, like, it wasn't hitting the humor.
Audience that I saw it with, nobody really laughed at anything.
Really?
Yeah.
So I want to say this. Now, if we're going to talk about Star Wars being back or whether or not this like gave me hope for Star Wars.
Right.
People were applauding throughout this movie at the screening I saw it in. Like,
because you saw it at Thursday night.
I saw the first showing on the IMAX.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was getting annoying because like, oh, the Falcon, oh, you know,
God
that kind of shit. But while that's annoying, I'm sitting there thinking like, like there was no joy the last Star Wars movie I went and saw. Like I didn't feel any of that.
There was a little bit of clapping earlier on in the film.
Like
okay.
Before
things really sort of had sunk in as to how this movie was going.
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, this movie is heavy on nostalgia.
Yes.
It's got a kind of, it's a heist movie. It's another heist movie.
I feel like there's a little bit too much of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge foreshadowing stuff going on in the film.
Like how so?
Just like references to things that will happen in the future kind of stuff. I mean, I fully admit that I just watched the prequels and that is chock full of foreshadowing.
Well, right, because this is a prequel.
Yes.
So we're going to make sure and reference and have little like nudges to say what's going to happen.
I'll never get on a starship.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Fuck that. But anyways.
Yeah. And well, it's great because in 4, I think it's 5 or something, whatever. He's, I forgot how much I hate space travel.
Yes.
Or maybe it was 4. I think it was 4. He had just been on a starship.
You got like a weird Transylvanian C-3PO.
I forgot. That's what they need is a Transylvanian droid.
I mean, if we're talking about representation, hell yeah. When's the last time you've seen a Transylvanian
in Star Wars? Yeah, that's true. We need that. Kathleen, are you listening? We need that.
I say that jokingly, but I mean, I do think representation is important.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that if it's natural, it's important. Pick the best person for the job.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it's just like Black Panther. You know, it's important for everybody to have a role model. Now, they don't always have to be your race to be your role model, but it is nice to see somebody who looks like you.
Sure, and in Black Panther, it works because it's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just wedge in,
and it's designed to be what it is.
Yeah, exactly. All right, but anyways,
I mean, that's a diatribe we don't have to keep in the podcast. Yeah, I don't know if maybe I was just too sensitive to it because of the prequels, but I mean, I just felt like there was a little bit of it.
Right. No, I would agree. There was. This movie was the essence, and I hate the like shut your brain off thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessary to shut your brain off to enjoy this, but I will say that like if you were going in hoping for like some sort of a thematic, like, really interesting fucking message, you might be disappointed. I wasn't really. And I'm glad that they didn't try to do that and fail, because this was just a fun movie with action scenes. They made the characters were good enough where the action sequences didn't feel hollow to me.
I would actually say that they did feel a little hollow, but it's because this is one of the few movies where I could have done with a few less action scenes and a few more character building scenes.
Okay.
Because none of the action felt like it. Now, I don't know if it's because of prequel and I know who's going to make it out and who won't.
Sure.
Which robs it of some real tension. But at the same time, I'm like, I just like the train sequence was fine. But I'm like, I'm not fully on board with everybody yet. Like Woody Harrelson's character, I don't give a shit about him. We spent like a grand total of like 5 minutes with him before that.
I was a fan of him immediately, admittedly, because he's Woody Harrelson.
Right. Well, and that's why they cast him. And I'm not saying he's not charismatic. I'm just saying his character is so thin.
I liked his character.
His character's fine.
The whole movie is thin.
Yeah, well, that's my point. It's just the whole movie is thin.
That doesn't make it. It didn't fail to me in what it was trying to do. It was trying to be a fun, like, oh, it's an adventure movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a Saturday morning cartoon. Like,
yeah.
I think that if George Lucas, and I actually wrote a little review for this, and it's on the website. If George Lucas based this or thought of Star Wars by watching like old Flash Gordon type adventure serials from the 30s and 40s and shit, this movie is what, to me, encompasses that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just a little thing that happened.
Yeah.
And, next week, tune in as Han goes on the next adventure. You know what I'm saying?
It does feel a little episodic.
It does.
It has some good characters. I would have liked to have spent more time with those characters and a little less time watching explosions. That was my overall feeling when I left. And I do feel like they were trying to do something thematic about, knowing when to take orders, when to not take orders, when to say yes, when to say no.
Right. They were trying to set up Han as the loner.
Yes.
And
it somewhat works, but it's a little muddy and it doesn't all work, but it's fine. Like, it doesn't fall flat on its face. It's not Justice League.
Is it better than the Whale movie?
As
a whole.
I think as a whole, I think you have to argue that this is a consistent level of mediocre throughout.
Okay.
Whereas the beginning of the Whale movie was just complete shit. So I think by default this wins, but nothing in this movie is as good as the end of that movie.
Whale movie.
Yeah.
Nothing in a lot of movies is as good as the end of the Whale movie, by the way. There's that ending with that fucking Whale movie was... I mean, they tied it up with a nice little bow at the end.
You really liked it.
If you haven't listened to that episode, I believe that was episode 7.
Yeah.
Of the podcast 8.
Sure.
Yeah, episode 8. Go listen to that one, folks. But yeah, so overall, would you recommend the movie? Let's get that.
I already have recommended it to a few friends.
Okay. Yeah, so I would too. I would gleefully recommend this.
I just tell people it's just kind of a dumb movie, but it's not too dumb, and it's mostly enjoyable, if not a little boring.
Yeah, and I would, you know what? I don't think it was boring, but I would recommend this highly to people who didn't like The Last Jedi.
Right.
If they thought that was their anti-Star Wars shit,
Yep.
if they didn't buy that as Star Wars, I think they would buy this as Star Wars.
Right.
So, yeah, there you go. Spoilers.
Fucking Darth Maul shows up.
Okay. I liked that.
I thought it was so fucking stupid.
I thought it was good. I liked it.
I mean, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, so it's going to be the Emperor or somebody. I was like, oh, well, that's weird because I don't recognize his voice. And then you see his face and I'm like, oh, okay. And they show his robot legs and stuff. But then he like pulls out his lightsaber and is like, we're going to have to work a lot more closely. And I'm like, really? There is no subtlety here at all.
Half your audience is like, wait a minute, who the fuck is this? So that's just the way of telling people it's Darth Maul.
See, and I find that annoying because to me, it's like they're trying to integrate the TV shows like into their movie universe.
Well, let me start by saying the entire idea that Darth Maul survived episode 1 to me has always been kind of stupid.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
But if we're going to just fucking oversaturate ourselves with Star Wars, if they're going to come out with Darth Maul shit that attempts to make the character a real character, I'm okay with that.
I suppose.
You know what I mean? Like I was thinking that too. Like that scene right there.
Yeah.
He did more in my eyes than he did in all of the first fucking movies.
He had more personality, that's for sure.
Right.
At that point, I was like, why does a Sith have to be behind everything in this universe?
Yeah, it's like he went and like somehow started some underground criminal organization.
Right. And
it's stupid, but I'm okay with it.
And the thing I would rather see from Sith is like, I like the idea of Palpatine as sort of like a different kind of Sith in that he manipulated his way to the top. I like the idea of maybe Darth Maul more as like he doesn't have money. He wins through intimidation and shit. In this, it's like, oh, go and sell this rare thing, and now I'll have all the money to.
Well, so that's where I find this interesting.
Things.
Is does Palpatine know that Darth Maul lived?
Yeah, that's kind of weird because
right?
you would think that he would sense him through the Force because he's like, I can sense things.
And I know we're getting a little bit into like nerd territory here, where this isn't so much about the quality of the film.
Yeah, it's like doesn't
as much
matter.
as like fucking with right. So give me some more Darth Maul. That's fine.
Right.
You can finally, kind of like the Boba Fett comment I made earlier. If you can finally give people who like them a reason, and when they say they like them, I don't have to think inside my head like, Jesus Christ, what an idiot. I'm okay with that.
Right. At that point, I was like, well, I had a decent enough time with this movie, so I wasn't upset. I just thought it was kind of dumb.
I was pretty shocked by it, and I was shocked because it doesn't make any sense. It's not like a clever shock.
Right.
It's not like I should have seen this coming, this possibility shock.
Right.
It's like it's the type of twist, like I would compare it to the end of Saw, the first Saw movie. Everybody walks out, oh my God, like he was alive laying there the whole time. It's like, well, as the audience, you never could have guessed that.
Yeah.
There's a dead guy in the room. You're never going to say, oh, it's probably the dead guy.
Right.
So there's no cleverness there.
Right.
So this wasn't clever.
Right.
It was just a nod to like the super fans.
Yeah.
Oh, Darth Maul, you guys all knew he was alive. Let's shock the people. You know more than them.
I was a little shocked that Emilia Clarke didn't die in that last scene. Just because I figured that was one of the few things where I was like, hey, you didn't go completely by the numbers in this film.
Yeah, and I think they want her back. I would assume they've signed on for multiple movies.
Yep, they have.
Yeah, and I thought she was pretty good. So.
Yeah. I
thought the romance, the whole thing was a nicely, like as far as the beats were concerned, they did a good job on the romance and all that stuff.
I think it really picked up once he saw her again. At the beginning, I was not fully on board because I'm like, this is moving like. They say that something that is good to do in writing is give us a small bit of what the daily life of this character is before they go on a mission. And they didn't really do that. It was just kind of like Han's on the run immediately. And I understand that starts you off with a certain amount of energy that
Yeah.
Seeing the day-to-day life wouldn't. But I feel like seeing the day-to-day life might have built their relationship up earlier, so I might have had more of an attachment to them early on.
So I would argue that the day-to-day for them was like dealing with this underground fucking criminal bitch. Oh, by the way, real quick on that, the creature effects in this were fantastic. I think they were really good.
I'd say all of the special effects were top notch.
Yes.
Like really,
and the
really
design,
good.
like there's one scene where they go into like the criminal underworld yacht, whatever scene.
That was
and
great.
There's these singers who are singing, and
Okay.
one of them's just in a glass jar, like floating.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic.
I will say that was another one of those checklist things. Oh, it's Star Wars. We have to have a cantina bit.
Yeah.
That got a little annoying, but I loved the look of it because it was very 1920s, 1930s.
Yes.
And that was really cool. I loved the look of that.
Now, I will give you that it's a little canteen, whatever, but it's also just crime syndicate, like mafia movies, the hangout spot.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I'm willing to give them a pass on that.
I kind of wish that they hadn't even really given them like an establishing shot though on those characters, because it would have been fine if it had been in the background, but the fact that you call attention to it makes me realize it's so cantina.
They're so neat though.
Yeah.
Like so many of the like little aliens, like the ones at the beginning of the movie, when the sun hits them and like the thing closes on them and stuff, like very, very interesting stuff, I thought. As far as design was concerned.
I want to get back to that Emilia Clarke at the end of the movie, though.
Okay.
I hate the fact that she did the whole stops Han to then take on the bad guy herself, because she could have just let Han shoot him. But instead, she literally gets in his way from shooting him.
She gets in Han's way from shooting the villain.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, if your whole point is to kill him. Now, if they had established that she wants to kill him herself because of something that he did to her.
Yeah, she probably doesn't like the guy.
But they don't. I mean, they set that up, but they don't set up that she hates him to the point that she wants to kill him.
Wants to murder him, right?
Yeah.
Now, my problem with the ending is I think it would have been more interesting if Han gets fucked out of his money by that rebellion crew.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of, so he just gives them the money.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't the Han that I thought was set up in A New Hope.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he's good, and Emilia Clarke knows he's good because she knows him so well, but
yes.
But he needs to get some damage done to him.
Yes.
Outside of just Woody Harrelson being a bad, and I love the fact that he just shot Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
That was a good touch. Like, hey, we know Han shot first.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I thought that was a funny little touch they had in there.
That was really good, and it was nice that Han had learned something by the end of the movie. Yeah,
but is that the lesson of the movie? Like, don't trust people?
I think the idea of the movie is to, chart your own course and learn from your previous mistakes.
Okay. So the message, what the actual message is, isn't that important. It's just that, learn from your mistakes, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, that's sort of the thing that I'm talking about where I say it's sort of thin thematically. It's kind of hard to tell what this movie is trying to say.
I don't think it's trying to say much.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. That's why I say it's thin. It just doesn't seem to be trying to say much. So when you try and glean a message from it,
it gets a little dicey. See, now I would say that to its benefit, it's hollow. Which is interesting for me because to me, Star Wars is great because it's not hollow.
Right.
But this was, maybe it's just the fact that I'm not like, Han Solo has never been my favorite character.
Right.
I love Han Solo, but he's not the basis of Star Wars for me.
Yep.
I thought it was just a fun little caper. I like heist movies generally.
Right.
Like the way they're set up.
Mm-hmm.
And this did a good job as far as a heist movie is concerned.
Yeah, it was fine. It was it took the frantic pace of the heist film.
Right.
Which is sort of, I guess, where my problem was in that it was like I could have used a moment to breathe. And I could have used a moment with these characters because I think one of my favorite scenes, I actually did have a lot of scenes I really liked. I love the introduction of Lando.
Yeah, it was good.
I think that's one of the best scenes in the movie. But one of my favorite, actually heartwarming scenes is when Emilia Clarke is trying on the capes.
Yeah,
and it was
funny too. It was funny, and it was the
moment where I'm like, this is this is legitimately good. You want these characters to be together, but there's secrets and there's changes, and you're not sure if it's going to work. It's kind of like a star-crossed lovers kind of thing.
Right.
And
well, you know it's not going to work.
Yeah, you know it's
you
not
don't
going to
know
work.
why it's not going to work.
Now, I know I sort of shit on the idea of foreshadowing and stuff.
Sure.
But there was that scene after Emilia Clarke kills the bad guy, and she's like, "Go on down. I'll be right back. I'll be right behind you."
Yep.
And I'm like, I kept on having flashbacks to the "I love you, I know" scene, and I'm like, this would have been a great moment where you could flip that on its head and have him be the one say, "I love you," and either she says "I know" or she says "I love you" back. And that's one of the reasons why he doesn't say "I love you" to Leia, is because it's a matter of trust, and he's still not there yet.
It would have worked with an "I love you" back. I think an "I know" back would have been too much.
It would have been too much.
Now, back to the scene you were just talking about. See, now that scene was pretty good with her looking at the capes, and they have their little moment.
Yes.
Issue is it's a ripoff of Empire Strikes Back, because the whole thing is Woody comes in, and am I interrupting something?
Oh, right.
When he gets his kiss.
Yeah.
So I was taken out of the movie. And, your average fans maybe not going to notice that.
Right.
But it took me out of the movie.
Right.
Now, there's just, we need to talk about the nostalgia thing, because it's getting fucking ridiculous.
Right.
Like, it really is.
Yes.
You have a scene where Chewie comes out in handcuffs, just like in A New Hope. And not only that, but Woody Harrelson is wearing the, the disguise costume that Lando wore in Return of the Jedi, and it's just, you're just piling these on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason that you need him to wear that in that scene.
The music when Han sees the Millennium Falcon for the first time,
Sure,
was a little unnecessary, because at this point it's just a ship. Like, maybe it's like, oh,
it could be like a foreshadowing type.
Well, and that's where I'm sort of like,
Yeah.
but you haven't established. Like, if this was the first movie that you saw in the Star Wars movies, you'd be like, it's just a ship. Like, we've seen a bunch of different ships.
Well, this movie's not meant to be seen before the Star Wars movie.
Right.
I thought the music was good overall, though. During the action scenes, like they used the old music, but they kind of added some stuff to it.
Did.
It had a little excitement to it, boosted the movie quite a bit.
Okay, so I want to say, like I said, I love Lando in this movie. I actually think Donald Glover is actually a better Lando than Billy D. Williams.
You're dead wrong on that.
That's fine.
I just watched Empire. It's unequivocally incorrect, but that's fine.
I like his take on the character, because it feels more layered than what we got in the original. I think that they actually gave his character more things in this than the original trilogy.
More than this guy who's leading this city and has all this weight of responsibility on his head, and the Empire comes back and he has to betray his friend, and it's not like you can't blame him for it.
That's an interesting situation. But I think you learn more about his character in the fact, you learn about him being a cheater. You learn about him being incredibly vain. You learn about how he feels about his father and how he feels about his mother.
Sure.
I mean, you learn quite a bit about his character, even though he's not in a ton of the movie.
Yeah, I liked him. I thought he played a good Lando, but stop it. Let's just stop it. Hit the brakes here a bit.
I just really liked his character. I just think he was the best part of the movie.
Alex has a boner for Donald Glover.
Here's the thing: I'm actually not a big fan of that new song he has. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's fine.
No, I like Donald Glover. Like I said, I watch Atlanta, and I think he's fucking great.
Yeah, I think he's a great. I was pretty on board with the movie at that point.
Sure.
But that was when the movie just took on a new energy for me. And I think it was the fact that they added two very different characters. So now you had some really interesting character dynamics between people. Because, Han and Lando are cut from the same cloth. They're both bullshitters. And they're both alpha males.
Yes.
But the way that they interact, I love the scene when it's them playing cards, because it's this Lando does not respect him. He's condescending the whole scene. And Han earns his respect by the end of the scene, and the way that they interact by the end of the movie, their character interactions are different.
Yeah, I would say so. I thought that was good too, like the Han Solo kind of being a smart ass right back to him.
Yes.
I thought it was good.
I want to see, I'd love to see a Lando movie just with him, and I would love for it to actually basically be based on that comic that we were talking about.
Oh yeah, but they won't do that.
They won't. But
unfortunately.
But I mean, if they don't do that, I at least want the next one to have more of a role for Lando and have it be almost like they're kind of like a trifecta kind of thing, Han, Chewie,
Sure.
and Lando. Because I just think they work so, all three of them together work so well together.
God damn, the Chewie stuff was just
Yes,
great.
Chewie
wasn't
was,
it?
yeah.
Ugh.
I should say maybe Chewie might be my second favorite character in the movie. Because L3, a lot of it is, okay, she's got some funny little bits. She does.
Yeah, she's the social justice warrior.
Yes,
of the...
she is. And this is where I'm actually, that's why I like her so much, is because my whole time watching Star Wars, I'm like, so these droids, they're sentient beings, yet they're property?
I've never seen it that way.
So
there's an interview with George Lucas about C-3PO where it's like, yeah, he's scared and confused, but he doesn't really know why. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't think.
But the thing is,
they
like
have personalities, I guess. They're
Well, and
it's
they
not quite Westworld,
but well, here's the thing. I think Westworld only makes you think they're more human because they look human. These guys have free will. They make their own choices.
True. That was kind of an interesting bit with the fighting, the robot wars kind of dog fighting ring where she's like, you don't need to do this. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And I was like, that's always been my thing about the droids in it is I'm like, okay, you've got this oppressive regime in the original trilogy, but droids are literal slaves and nobody comments on it. And it just seems really weird to me. It just
now they have commented.
Yeah. Well, and going back to what you were saying about George Lucas, his little interview, I can't take anything that's taken out of the movies because the movies need to establish. That's my point of view.
That's true, but that was his way of like, because people had asked him like, well, wait a minute, like, does he have artificial intelligence? Does he have choice? Like,
right.
And that was kind of his way of saying like, this is the way that I saw it.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I liked her, but again, she's an example of like. That kind of shit can take me out of a movie because you are, whether or not I agree with the agenda that's being pushed there, like you have the writer of this scene clearly has a political agenda that they're trying to work into the movie. But now whether or not that bothers people, like it doesn't bother me. It might take me out of the movie for a second would be my argument.
Yes.
But it doesn't I'm not offended. You know what I'm saying? No matter what side it's on.
I actually totally agree with that because it does take you out of the movie because you can take it as the movie is either being preachy or it's making a parody of the social justice warrior.
Yes.
And I actually think it's a little bit of both because she's you are meant to laugh at some of the things that she says.
Yeah, I was one of the only people in the theater laughing at her stuff. To be honest with you, see, and that's where I'm saying that in general that character may not have worked. That's just maybe not.
I've seen some online reviews where people say she was their favorite character.
Okay,
but I mean it doesn't matter.
It's kind of funny though, because she kind of reminds me of like the K2SO of this movie. He was
Absolutely.
the one goddamn redeeming character
in Rogue One. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of interesting that droids have sort of taken on the sassy character role.
Right.
But I mean, it's a fine movie. Like it's a solid C. It's fine.
Yeah, I gave it a B.
Yeah,
it was 85% for me or something like that.
And I remember you text me when you were about to write your review, and you're like, "Man, I am just too close to Star Wars."
Because I can't write. I was sitting down to write a little review for it, and I'm thinking to myself, like, all I want to do is blab about Star Wars in this.
Right.
I'm trying to keep it contained to like.
Yep.
Reviewing this film on the merits of this film.
Right.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because you want to just pull in shit. Well, unlike in this movie does this and, talk about like, Han Solo, whether or not this is what you always imagined, all that kind of bullshit.
Yep.
So I thought, I did the best I could to not do that. And I think, I didn't bring up much of the old movies aside from saying, this movie, not serious thematically whatsoever.
Yeah.
Has nothing to say to me.
For me, it's actually the second best of the modern era.
100% agree. I put Force Awakens
Yep.
first. This is the second best one that Disney has made.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And The Last Jedi, I don't hate The Last Jedi. It's another just fine movie. I have serious issues with some of the choices made in it, from a character or thematic perspective. And I think it's got better cinematography than Rogue One, so I actually think Rogue One is the worst out of all of them.
Maybe. I feel like The Last Jedi, as far as grading a movie based on what it's trying to accomplish,
Right.
it does not beat Solo in that regard. Like Solo it's an easier movie to make.
Right.
It's probably worse in a lot of ways than The Last Jedi. It's not as serious. It's not,
It doesn't have
it's just a
anything to
cheese,
say.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas The Last Jedi has all these things to say, but there's so many choices made. Like you said, it's about choices where I just don't get it.
Right.
I mean, how do you have one of your main plot lines involve a slow chase of one ship to an? I mean, it's not
Right.
interesting. It's not interesting to send two characters off on a fucking Easter egg hunt and then just blow up the Easter egg once they get the Easter egg.
Right.
I mean,
and that's the one I agree with you. I actually text you right after that movie, and I was like, you know what? I actually really like the fact that structurally they did something very different in that it's a very slow chase. So you've got a ticking clock, and it's a very different scenario that you've ever seen in a Star Wars film.
it's just so boring.
It was boring.
Yeah.
But I liked the fact that I was in a different situation in Star Wars rather
Okay.
than just another planet battle or just another space battle.
And actually, one of the things I liked in the movie was the Poe Dameron arc.
Yes.
I guess. Even though to me it's kind of stupid because why didn't she just tell him
Yep.
the plan?
But
the idea that he, you need to trust people.
Right. I mean, I think he's the only one that actually has a semi-decent arc, but it's also broken by that sort of ridiculous. It's not a plot hole. It's just such a convenient choice on her part that
Right.
breaks the film. I mean, Finn just regurgitates the last film's arc again. He's a coward. He's abandoning. Oh, now he learned to fight for something. It's the same damn arc.
Yeah.
Rose doesn't have an arc. I don't know what Rey's arc has been throughout all of the films.
I guess her deal is acceptance of the fact that
Her parents.
yeah,
Right. I guess.
would have been really neat if she would have just taken his hand and that's where they would have gone with it.
Yeah.
Like, how does the Resistance
Fight two Jedis.
We're going to have people versus force sensitive folk. Have
Jesus
real
Christ.
humans figure out a way to overcome the force sensitive folk. That's interesting.
That's interesting. It's like mutants versus humans.
Right. Yes.
I mean, I'll take it. Yeah. But yeah, Han Solo was fine.
Yeah,
you
I
know what
thought
I
it was
liked
good.
at the beginning was when they're trying to get off the planet that they're on, Amelia Clarke and Han. I like that I don't remember her. Oh, Kira. That's her name.
Kira.
I like the fact that we actually learn more of what day-to-day life is like under the Empire regime through that whole, almost like airport sort of
That
scene.
was neat. Like the little recruitment video.
Yeah,
and
the
shit.
recruitment
Yeah.
video, the fact that they were breaking up families. I'm like, I learned more here in this 3-minute segment than the prequels or Rogue One. This, I actually got
That
why
was
the
pretty
Empire
good,
is bad.
That airport scene. Huh?
Yeah.
We're in spoilers now, so we can talk. I thought the Solo name thing was cool too. I never thought of it that way. What I mean? I never thought of it as I thought it was just his name, and it was just convenient that he was on his own. But
It's kind of interesting that we have Spanish in space, but I guess we have English too. So
whatever.
yeah, I mean,
Go Solo.
yeah. I mean, it was. It was fine. I was like, it's kind of nice that you're subverting expectations. I also thought it was a little dumb.
Oh, of course it's dumb, but whatever.
It's Star Wars.
Yeah, his name's Han. He didn't have a last name.
Yeah.
Solo.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel any way particularly passionately about basically anything in this movie.
I would agree, which made me feel good. I didn't have to.
Yeah.
I didn't have to be upset.
I watched it the one time that I'll see it. Probably will never watch it again. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
It's a one-off.
Movie Pass makes these things possible. The other thing was it was Sunday or Saturday, and I was like, oh shit, I don't really remember. I want to sit and write this because I went and saw a concert on Friday night. I'm like, I kind of want to write a little something on this, but I don't remember it well enough because there's nothing worth remembering.
Yep.
I just remember that I like had good feelings coming out of the theater.
So
I'll go see it again. Movie Pass, free, go.
So strange to me that you're giving a movie a B that you like can't remember shit from.
I mean, I remembered like the action scenes, but if I was going to sit down and like think about the characters, I probably could have done it. But if you can see it again for free, fuck it.
I suppose.
I enjoyed it both times.
That's good.
Both times. Yeah.
I'm fine with my one
It's
viewing.
a perfect like, oh, it's on TNT. I'll stop and watch it movie.
I won't stop.
See,
But I'm really picky about, movies on TV. It's actually gotten to the point where I just watch ones I haven't seen, basically.
Okay.
Because I own the ones that I want to see
well,
again.
what about like if Shawshank's on? Do you stop Shawshank?
I
feel like that's the movie.
I suppose, yeah.
Because no matter where you are, you're going to be like, oh, great scene.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. You got to be in the mood for that movie, though, sometimes.
Always in the mood for some Shawshank.
I mean, like Schindler's List is a great movie, but I'm not throwing that on at all times.
That one, yeah, they'd have to edit quite a bit out to put that on cable television.
Yeah, that's true. All right, guys. Well, that was our solo review, our little bonus episode. I have been home at the movies.
And I've been Jackson.
I guess I was a little bored. I guess I am the definition. I was the definition of bored.
I was content and fine with it.
Yeah.
I looked over at my buddies I saw it with and I went, I liked it.
What did they say?
They said, it was all right.
Yeah. See, yeah, that's where I'm at. It's fine.
Actually, what I said was pretty good. Kind of like did the Larry David.
Pretty good. But yeah, that's been our solo review. We'll see you next week.
Right. I don't even know what comes out, but we'll see.
I think we're going to go see Best Friends, the new Tommy Wiseau film.
Best Friends Volume 2. I forgot to break that to you.
Oh my God, it's Volume 2?
So I don't know if we should go see it because I haven't seen Volume 1.
You know what? It's a Tommy Wiseau film. Do we need to see the first?
Yeah, I'll go. Fuck it. Let's go.
Do it. All right. Tommy Wiseau week. All right, you guys have a great one.